Tathastu ICS. I hope you all are doing fine. My name is Pooja Sharma and I am your current affairs faculty here. So today is 20th May 2025 and I am going to take your The Hindu analysis. Okay. So this is the front page of your The Hindu newspaper today. Obviously one very important news is there. We are going to discuss also. Okay, Pakistan had not resorted to nuclear signaling. So it is being affirmed by the center that Pakistan, because we were hearing so many, these rumors that Pakistan was actually going to nuclear attack on India. That's why such kind of ceasefire was happening. So now the External Affairs Ministry has already gave the statement that it was nothing like that. It was not that Pakistan was going to resort to the nuclear, going to use the nuclear weapon. So this is not the only thing which is being said by the ministry. So there are so many other things which were being reaffirmed by our government. So we are going to discuss everything in detail, right? So this is the Telegram group from where you can access the PDF files of these DNA sessions. Good morning everyone. Mansa is here. Good morning Mr. Gagan. Good morning Sanjana. Good morning Rishi Pandey and good morning Anita. Okay. So let's start our discussion. Let's see which news are important. Before that, these are the new courses which are starting at Tathastu ICS. So you can go through the detail of them. If you want further inquiry, you can just call on Tathastu number. These are the news from the Hindu newspaper today which we are going to discuss. The first is related to the same news which I have just mentioned, that Pakistan did not resort to nuclear signaling. It means what is the meaning of nuclear signaling? It means the Pakistan was not going to use any nuclear weapon. Okay, so it was not like that Pakistan was going to use nuclear weapon and that's why India got threatened and we actually declared ceasefire. So all these are just rumors. It is already being reaffirmed by our government. Okay, other than that there are so many other things also, other statements also which are being given by our government or External Affairs Ministry. So we are going to discuss that everything in detail. The second news is related to one important editorial on your editorial page by Shashi Tharoor. Okay, so Shashi Tharoor actually has written a very important article, and this article is actually talking about the need of bipartisanship in our Indian polity right now. That whenever there is a crisis at national level, how the political parties, even the party which is the ruling party and the party which is the opposition party, so how these parties should behave with each other. Okay, should we blame each other or the government for doing something or not doing something, or we just need to show ourselves as a unified country. So this is the meaning of bipartisanship. It means, what is the meaning of bipartisanship? It means there are two groups. Okay, two groups, let's say these days BJP and Congress. BJP and Congress. So these two groups are actually not aligned with each other. We can say that these are political rival to each other. But when there is a situation like national security, like we had when we did Operation Sindoor, in such kind of situation, we need to show this bipartisanship. Okay, bipartisanship. It means two groups which are not having similar ideology, at certain point of time they need to find a common ground so that they can discuss on that. So this is the meaning of bipartisanship. So this article is actually revolving around what India's political system, political parties, what kind of behavior they should show when there is any kind of national crisis in our country. Very important article. Now the third news is a very basic and small news which is about E0FIR initiative. Again very small news, we will discuss in detail. This initiative is related to the cyber crimes. Okay. Now the next news is understanding India's relationship with Turkey and Azerbaijan. Why Turkey and Azerbaijan and their relation with India is suddenly become so much important, though we don't have much economic relation with these two countries. We all know that during Operation Sindoor, when the conflict between India and Pakistan emerged, at that point of time, these two countries were the countries which were openly supporting Pakistan, right? Along with that, Turkey was providing so many weapons to Pakistan. After that, there was a social media campaign that we need to curb our, trade and our visit to these countries, Turkey and Azerbaijan. They were actually concentrated on how can we stop tourism which is going from India to Turkey or Azerbaijan. So there was a big campaign which was going on in social media, but again this article is going to tell us about what actually the role of Turkey and Azerbaijan when it comes to the Pakistan, and what is the role of Armenia here, because Armenia and Azerbaijan, they are each other's rival. Okay, and what is the role of India in between all these things? What is the role of India here? Because these countries are so much in news, so these countries again are very important for UPSC from location point of view also, and why there was such a big campaign on social media for boycotting the tourism towards these two countries. Next news which we are going to cover today is Pakistan's attack targeting Golden Temple were thwarted. It means the army official has confirmed that there was an attack on the Golden Temple from Pakistani side, but it was actually neutralized by Indian army. So in that context, we are going to know about the Golden Temple also, right? So let's start today's discussion. Let's come to our first news. Very important news, okay, which we need to understand. This news, such kind of news is going to clarify so many things which are there revolving on social media. So if you really want to have some authentic news, so we need to read about these government statements. So these statements are only going to clarify what actually was happening when Operation Sindoor was going on, what kind of talks we were having in the Pakistan, why the ceasefire happened, was there any role of America or Donald Trump, or there was no such role, and what is the meaning of ceasefire in general. Okay, so let's understand what all is written here. So I have summarized it for you. First of all, let's understand the context, why this statement is here and what. Just give me a second. Why this statement is here? Actually, recently our Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri briefed the Standing Committee on External Affairs on India-Pakistan military conflict in the aftermath of Pahalgam terror attack and Operation Sindoor. The meeting was chaired by our member of parliament, that is Shashi Tharoor. So this is not much important, it is just the context. What is important, what is the crux of the report. So what all was written in that report, what our foreign secretary was actually telling us. The first thing that he actually clarified on that, the Pakistan did not engage in any nuclear signaling during or after Operation Sindoor. It means Pakistan did not threaten us by using nuclear weapons. Okay, nuclear weapons were not in the scene at all, but there was so many news on social media that Pakistan wanted to resort to the last option and was going to use the nuclear weapons, but it was not so. Second, the USA was not involved in any way when it comes to the ceasefire between India and Pakistan. Okay, now obviously there was a statement of Donald Trump, and on that night only the ceasefire has happened. So let's understand how these two things are related to each other. Now, as per the Vikram Misri, that the USA was neither involved, not informed, even informed about ceasefire. Trump's early announcement was just coincidental and was not based on any prior information. It means that whatever statement was given by Donald Trump, and that statement has nothing to do with the ceasefire that happened between India and Pakistan, and the statement which was given was completely coincidental. It means it was just a coincidence that he has given the statement on the same day the ceasefire has happened. It is actually being given the statement by our government, right? Another important confirmation that they gave, that India's DGMO, that is Director General of Military Operation, DGMOs are the authorities which are actually going to talk with each other when such kind of situation is happening. So Pakistani DGMO is going to talk to Indian DGMO when there is such kind of conflict. So they are actually the source of information to each other. So India's DGMO communicated with Pakistani counterpart only after the first strike of Operation Sindoor. Obviously there were 9 strikes, right? Sorry, 9 places were struck. So when the first strike was already happened, after that the Pakistan was informed on this. Okay, so it was not like that we first informed the Pakistani side that we are going to perform such kind of surgical strike, and then after the strike was happened. Okay, because again there were so many social media news that they were saying that Pakistan was already informed about the Operation Sindhu. So it was not like that. The first strike, during the first strike there was no information towards Pakistan, but after the first strike, as per the norms and policies and the international intervention, it was actually necessary to communicate to the Pakistan that such kind of operation is being operated from Indian side. Again, another important statement which was given, that India reaffirmed its response was due to the Pahalgam attack and maintained its stance against third party mediation, because this is something that everyone was worried about, that why Trump has mediated when it comes to India and Pakistan. But according to Shimla agreement which we have done yesterday, that no third party between India and Pakistan are going to come, either USA or United Nations, they are going to come and going to impact what is going to be there in between these two countries. Okay, ceasefire means, what is the meaning of ceasefire? Is the voice clear now? Please someone tell me. Ceasefire, it means there are two countries, they are fighting with each other. Ceasefire means they are going to cease the fire. Fire means, you know, the fire by the gun and everything, right? So ceasefire is like that. So when two countries, they are having war with each other, it means they are firing at each other. Ceasefire means seizing that fire. It means the announcement of stopping the war is known as ceasefire, right? Now, okay. Now, so this was this article, very important article. This news actually has, gave us so much clarity which was already going on social media. Now, let's come to our second article, which is an editorial by our Member of Parliament Shashi Tharoor. Okay, so let's understand the context. Context is same again. The Pahalgam attack, the terrorist attack in Pahalgam on 22nd of April has again shaken the consciousness of all of the country. Okay, we all agree on that, and it actually reminded us how fragile the peace in that particular region, or we can say that in Kashmir. Okay, the peace is so fragile in Kashmir, and this was something which we actually forgot, but again we are conscious about that, right? So, in such kind of situation, what we need to do? We need to recognize the critical importance of bipartisanship. It means even if there are two parties, they are not aligning it with each other ideologically, but in such kind of incidents, in such kind of situation, they need to find a common ground. Okay, so both in shaping our responses, so bipartisanship in what way? In shaping our response, it means the response of each and everyone who are representing the government, either from any party, okay, either from BJP or Congress, they need to have similar response, and they need to ensure that national security does not become another theatre for political posturing. It means these political parties need not to act or have the advantage of such kind of situation for their own political gain. So this is the meaning of that. Ma'am, after some time there are chances of war between India and China at the Himalaya. Look, it is not very easy to have conflict with China, right? Why so? Because with Pakistan we don't have much of a trade. With whom you trade? If you have economic relation with someone, you are not going to fight with them. Okay, so it is a big difference. With Pakistan, we don't have any trade relations. If we had trade relations with Pakistan, such kind of incidents were avoided in general. With China, we cannot do that. Okay, so with China, the war is not very much possible. It can happen. Okay, it is not inevitable, but it is a very, very last resort. It's a very difficult situation. If there is such a difficult situation, we have to resort to that kind of situation. Only then the war can happen between India and China. Otherwise, no. Again, the voice is voice ठीक है? आवाज सही है? अंकित, आवाज सही है? ठीक है. I think voice is great. Don't worry about it. Now we need to understand what is the issue here. Issue means what is the issue with respect to bipartisanship in our country. Okay. Every time whenever there is a terror attack, instead of standing united, okay, the political party start blaming each other. So this is what happened in our country, and using it to gain their own public support, right? So this happens in our country most of the time. We saw this after the Pulwama attack, when there was a Pulwama attack in 2019, and then we did the surgical strike. Then the opposition party was actually asking for the evidence. So we should not behave in such a way, okay? So this is not something we need to adhere to, where swift retaliatory action become intertwined with the campaign narratives. Actually it was inevitable also, because after some days only, after some months only after the Pulwama, the elections were going on. So elections were scheduled. So in the light of those elections, so the Pulwama attack was politicized at that point of time. This is something which is very unfortunate. Now, the article is, the Shashi Tharoor is trying to tell us, first of all, we need to understand that security is beyond the partisan interest. It means your party interests are going to come, should be secondary when it comes to, what should be primary for you? The security, the national security should be something that should have a prime importance. Okay, you can give your secondary importance to your own ideology, your own party's interest, but at the priority you need to keep your national security. Again, terrorism is a surge that demand a decisive, well coordinated response, not knee-jerk reaction shaped by the party ideology. It's the same thing, okay, it's the same thing, right? Then the article is actually focusing on the examples of unity, okay, all over the world, okay, when there is such kind of incidents. So let's understand how at the world level, when there was a bigger issue, the political parties actually came on a common ground. So let's understand what happened during Kargil War. During Kargil War, despite political rivalry, the government and the opposition, it stood together, okay. It was something in the past which we can have inspiration from. When there was a surgical strike in 2016, okay, at that point of time, all parties supported the response of the Uri attack, that it was good that government has taken some kind of retaliation, or government has done some kind of retaliatory attack on Pakistan. Okay, again, if we look into some international example, recent example, USA after 9/11, okay, when the attack happened in USA, at that point of time, the both parties which are there in USA, they actually came together to strengthen the security, okay. Okay, it was a very good example how two parties which don't have similar ideology, they are working together when it comes to national security. In New Zealand, when there was attack, there was a gun attack. After that, when it comes to the controlling of the gun in New Zealand, the both parties actually took initiatives. During Ukraine crisis, though the many countries in the Europe, they were not having similar ideology, but when it comes to attack by Russia on Ukraine, the most of the countries of the NATO, they came together and they had their one voice. Okay, this is something we can see all over the world, that when there is issue related to national security, each and every nation has shown these examples that two different political parties came together on a common ground. Let's understand the lesson from the history. Okay, in 1994, PM Narsinga government was there. It was a Congress government, and he actually sent Atal Bihari Vajpayee to United Nations to represent India on Kashmir. He actually sent a person from BJP to represent the country on such a important issue. So such kind of examples show that national interest is above your political party's interest. This shows that India can rise above party politics, but sadly such unity hasn't been seen much in last 30 years. So obviously we have so many examples, but in last 30 years, the kind of political rivalry we are having in our country, it is actually something which is seen that is above national security, which is again very, very unfortunate. Now, Now article is talking about what is the problem today. Again the same, the politics has become bitter and very personal. Parties act more like enemies and adversary. Okay, social media has made the political environment even more divisive. Okay, again every issue is made black and white, that something is right or something is wrong, that's it. There is no gray area. So we always need to have gray areas. What is at risk if we are going to go in the similar manner? Then India going to look divided at home. It means when the country, so let's take the example of Pakistan. When Pakistan is going to see how the parties in our country or the people in our country are divided, so obviously they are going to take advantage of that. Okay. In the same case, even in Pahalgam, when they attacked the tourists in the name of religion, what they wanted actually, what was the major aim of those terrorists? Their major aim at that point of time was that some kind of communal tension should start in our country on the basis of religion. People should start targeting Kashmiris or Muslims instead of looking at the terrorism as an issue as a whole. So this is what those terrorists wanted. But fortunately or unfortunately, some sections was affected by those incidents and some was not affected by it. It means whatever is going to happen, we need to be united at our country level, though there are two parties or there are two religions or there are two communities. Okay. Now, why do we need a non-partisan security doctrine? It means this is something you need to understand. Okay, very keenly. What is the meaning of non-partisan security doctrine? It means we need to have a security doctrine. Security doctrine means when it comes to national security, there has to be some rules and regulation. There has to be some doctrine. Okay, it means there should be some pointers which are going to dictate our foreign policy or our national security, and it should be above the party level. It should be non-partisan. It means it should not be guided by the party ideology. It means BJP, let's understand, if BJP is in power, BJP should adhere to this same doctrine, and when the Congress is in power, then Congress also need to adhere to the same doctrine. It means we need to have a common doctrine. Okay, then for example, no third party mediation. This is something which is very, very important part of our foreign policy. Okay, whenever there is going to be a fight between India and Pakistan, there should not be any involvement of third party. So all the countries which are there, or if any party who is going to be there in power, they need to adhere to this same doctrine. Okay, this is something, the meaning of non-partisan security doctrine. So what India needs today is a structured national security doctrine that remains insulated from electoral cycles. One that provides a clear vision to counter terrorism, intelligence sharing and strategic deterrence without becoming a tool for political one-manship. Again, very important line which was written by Shashi Tharoor is that true political leadership demands statesmanship over populism. We need clarity over chaos. Okay, this is something we need to understand, right? So I hope you understood this particular article. So let's come to our next news. Any question? Okay, now, so it is very simple news. It's a very prelims oriented news that Amit Shah launches E0 FIR initiative. Let's understand what is the meaning of this E0 FIR initiative. Right? FIR is first information report only. Okay, the context here is that the government has launched a new system called E0 FIR initiative to tackle financial cyber crime more effectively. So how it is going to work? For example, if someone loses rupees 10 lakh or more in an online financial fraud, okay, and reports it through the 1930 cybercrime helpline. 1930 here is a phone number, okay, phone number. So we need to call 1930 and you need to report. Then you need to report at the cybercrime.government.in. So you can go anywhere. Either you are going to call 1930 or you are going to go to this website and you are going to fill your report, okay, that some kind of fraud has happened with you. And FIR will now be registered automatically, okay, and this will be called as E0 FIR. It means whenever there is a financial fraud above rupees 10 lakh, if you are going to call 1930, or you are going to go to this website and you are going to fill your complaint, your FIR will be registered automatically. Okay, you need not to go to the police station and you need not to file your FIR there. So you will have E0 FIR. So it is only for the having this financial, only in context of financial cyber crimes. Okay. So this system actually has been launched at pilot project in Delhi first, then it is going to go on all India level. How it is going to work technically? Again, it involves connecting the three system. For example, I4C cybercrime reporting portal will be connected with Delhi Police EFIR system and the National Crime Record Bureau's tracking system. So these three systems are going to be connected together, and then we are going to register these E0 FIRs. Right? Let's come to our next article. Very interesting article. It is talking about the India's relation with Turkey and Azerbaijan. Okay, so what is the context here? Obviously, recently Turkey and Azerbaijan both, they supported Pakistan. Both of these countries, they supported Pakistan following the Pahalgam attack. Okay. After that, what was happening on social media? Social media was having this campaign of boycotting travel and trade with these two countries, right? In this scenario, there were so many tour bookings to Turkey and Azerbaijan which were cancelled also. Indian tour operators actually withdrew their offers also. Social media campaigns were there calling to boycott the campaign. Even the universities like JNU, IIT Bombay and IIT Roorkee, they suspended their ties with Turkish university. Okay, so it was going on. So everyone was trying to boycott Turkey and Azerbaijan. Now, the news is actually going to tell us what kind of effect it can make on the economy of Turkey and Azerbaijan in general, and how or what kind of political outcomes are there. Let's understand the Turkey, Pakistan and Azerbaijan's dynamic. So what kind of dynamics plays here? So first let's understand where exactly is Turkey. Turkey is here, right? This is Saudi Arabia, this is your these are your Gulf countries, Iraq, Syria and all. Then you have Turkey, then this is Europe. Here you have a very small country, that is Armenia, okay, this small country, and there is this another country, that is Azerbaijan. Actually, Azerbaijan and Turkey, they are friends. They are friends because both have majority Muslim population. Armenia is a Christian population country, okay, but it is in between Azerbaijan and Turkey. Armenia and Azerbaijan, they are rival to each other. They are rival, okay. They are also having these territorial disputes. The both countries, Armenia and Azerbaijan, they already have their disputes. So let's understand. You all know where the Pakistan is, so need not to tell in a map where Pakistan is. Now, Turkey and Pakistan have a strong defense relationship. Turkey has been exporting artillery and armed vehicles to Pakistan since 1990s. So it is nothing new that Turkey has started giving these arms and ammunition to Pakistan on the drone, but suddenly Turkey sent so many drones to Pakistan and then Pakistan used those drones to attack India. So it was not like that. So the defense trade between Turkey and Pakistan is not very new. It is there since 1990s. Okay. They support each other diplomatically also. It means they have defense ties like the kind of tie we have with Russia, and they have this diplomatic support, diplomatic relation also. For example, Turkey supports Pakistan on Kashmir and the Pakistan backs Turkey on Cyprus. Where is this Cyprus? Let's look at the Cyprus. You can see this is a small island here, okay, in Mediterranean Sea. So this is Cyprus. Actually, Cyprus have two kind of population. Two kind of people. The one are the Greeks and there is another population of Turks. So these Turks people have more loyalty towards Turkey and the Greek people have more loyalty towards Greece. Here is Greece, this is Greece, this country is Greece, right? So that's why there was a division in 1970s. The division happened because the people who are supporting Greeks, the Greek people, they wanted to merge Cyprus into Greek. Then the Turkey attacked on Cyprus, and now the Cyprus is divided into two parts, northern part and southern part. So the northern part have influence of Turkey, okay, though in general the Cyprus is an independent country, right? But again there was so much involvement of Turkey in Cyprus, but here the Pakistan always backs Turkey when it comes to Cyprus issue, okay. In 2020 Turkey actually supported Azerbaijan also when there was a conflict related to the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. So this where, what is the meaning of this Nagorno-Karabakh conflict? I have already told you about these two countries, Armenia and Azerbaijan. So here you can see that there is this territory which is very much part of Armenia, but internationally recognizable to be part of Azerbaijan only. So this Nagorno-Karabakh region is part of Azerbaijan, but Armenia have there the most of the people who are there in this particular region. The people here are Armenians, okay, Armenians, but the territory belongs to Azerbaijan. Okay, in this case, the Pakistan actually backs to Turkey support Azerbaijan on this particular conflict. So these countries have this, they support each other when it comes to territorial issues with other countries, right? So that's why in this present case, the Turkey actually supported Pakistan instead of India. And this was nothing new. It was there as part of their foreign policy. Now, what is India's position when it comes to Azerbaijan and Turkey? India actually exports weapons to Armenia. Again, it is not going to make Azerbaijan happy. So that's why Azerbaijan this time was in favor of Pakistan, because we give weapons to Armenia. Armenia and Azerbaijan, they are fighting with each other. Okay, no armed deal exists between India and either Turkey and Azerbaijan. That is something we need to understand that. Now, let's understand the trade importance. Okay, so this is something you need to understand. India imports very little from Turkey and Azerbaijan. So you can understand there is not much trade going on between these two countries. Even if we are going to boycott Turkey and Azerbaijan on the trade front, even after that it is not going to impact much this Turkey and Azerbaijan. We import some of the crude oil, but that crude oil is very minimal. Other than that, we also import machinery, again that is very less than 1%. But India is a major buyer of Azerbaijan's oil. If we are going to stop to take oil from Azerbaijan, it can actually hurt Azerbaijan more. So we don't have that kind of trade relation with Turkey and Azerbaijan, but though whatever we import from Azerbaijan, it is not much when it comes to India, but is very much when it comes to Azerbaijan. So there is only one way, okay, and only one country can get hurt if the trade relation, India is going to stop any kind of trade relation with Azerbaijan, but Turkey in general is not going to get affect much. Again, let's come to our next news. Next news is related to Pakistan's attack targeting Golden Temple were thwarted Indian Army official. It means on the night of 7th and 8th May, the Pakistan did attack on Golden Temple in Amritsar. So why Pakistan did that? Indian armies and this attack was successfully intercepted and stopped in the sky only. Now Pakistan specifically target Golden Temple because Golden Temple is a sacred Sikh shrine. If it was going to happen, if they were going to attack, if the attack could have happened, then obviously it was going to hurt the religious sentiments of Sikh population in our country, so that they wanted to have that kind of situation, that kind of communal surge or upheaval in our country by attacking Golden Temple. So this is something, again, this is very much true and reaffirmed by our official that yes, Pakistan did attack on Golden Temple, though there were very opposite narrative going on in social media. So where is Golden Temple? So Golden Temple is also known as Harminder Sahib. right? So Harminder Sahib and Darbar Sahib also is the holiest shrine of Sikhism. It is located in Amritsar and it was actually built by Guru Arjan Dev, who was the 5th, 6th Guru in 14th century. If you want to become very specific, the construction actually started in 1581. And Guru Arjan installed the scripture of Sikhism inside, or you can say that Guru Granth Sahib inside the Gurudwara in 1604 when it was completely built. So this was about your Golden Temple. I think this is all about today's DNA session. Any question? Okay, Hussain is asking. Turkey and India have been in difference of interest and conflict since World War II, since Indian soldiers beat Turkey in half year, right? Yes, you can say that. Why does history is so important when it creates divide between humans? History actually tells us the facts. History is not going to tell us that you need to, have division among society in general, okay. These divisions are already there in the society. History actually tells us that these things happened and what were the repercussions of that. But we as a human, we never learn from history. Okay, so this is something, this is a bitter truth, we never learn from the history. That's why history always repeats itself. The moment we will understand the history and we will stop repeating the history, the historical wrongs, the history is not going to repeat. The incidents which were the unfortunate incidents, sad incidents are not going to get repeated again. But again, we don't take any inspiration from history. We can take inspiration from the time of Akbar when there was such a great communal harmony between these two communities. We can take, but we can take the example of the later period when there was no harmony between these community and what kind of repercussion we had, what kind of India we had in the times of Akbar and the kind of India we have later on, okay. So we need to understand, okay, whenever there is harmony, whenever there is peace, the growth is going to follow, okay, and growth is going to give fruits to everyone irrespective of community. So the peace is always in favor of people, whoever the person is, okay. From which route Turkey transport goods to Pakistan? Obviously, Turkey can easily through the ocean, sea route, it can transfer goods to Pakistan and through air also. Okay, so let's I am going to take my leave. I hope you all are doing fine and please do read newspaper also if you have time. Other than that, at least go through the PDF file of this DNA session. So thank you so much. Have a very, very nice day.